All right, returning now, counsel, from the recess. We are on the record. Counsel, call your next witness.
I would like to call Mr. Philip Richards, the respondent. The court should know we have interpreters present to interpret for Mr. Richards.
If you could call Mr. Richards forward. Come over here. Mr. Richards, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Counsel, you may begin.
Please state your name for the record. Where do you reside?
The interpreter needs to make a correction to the record. One moment, Your Honor, please.
And how old are you? Are you deaf? What is your occupation?
Your Honor, Attorney Brown is standing in the sight line of Ms. Richards. She can't see what the interpreters are doing.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. I'll try to stay out of the way. There, is that okay now? Now, where was I? Yes, Mr. Richards, what is your occupation? When did you start in your computer business? In addition to developing these software applications, you also do consulting work? How do you communicate with these businesses? Do you travel to your client's plant or office? How do you talk to these business people? And what kind of income have you had for the past 3 years? What is your educational background? How did you meet your wife? And you're requesting that you be awarded custody of your daughter, is that correct? Would you please tell the court in your own words why you believe custody should be awarded to you? Do you know where your wife is when she's gone at nights and on weekends? Mr. Richards, do you believe that she does not go to the school meetings? Does your wife have a drinking problem? Are there any specific incidents you can refer to which would affect your child?
Interpreter asked to clarify as to affect the child how?
Negatively, her drinking problem? Have there been any other incidents of her drinking within the presence of your daughter? Does your wife still have a drinking problem?
Your Honor, I object. This is character assignation. I request that a bailiff come here and search Miss Richards' purse.
That won't be necessary. Mr. Richards, you have to stick to the facts only and keep those kinds of comments to yourself. Can you verify that he understands that? Please continue.
Regarding Sarah's education, who takes her to school when the weather is bad? You see Sarah off to school every day? Do you do any other cooking? Do you and your daughter go places together? Do you know why your wife doesn't go to these deaf community activities? And do you have any experience raising children? I have no further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Your consulting work is with companies all over the country, isn't that right, Mr. Richards? You spend a lot of time traveling, don't you? But you aren't always home when Sarah leaves for school or comes home, are you? And you aren't always around at night or on weekends, are you? And when you are away, who takes care of Sarah? When you are away, who takes care of Sarah? And even when you're home, you're usually working, aren't you? Long hours? Do you ever take your daughter to her doctor's appointments? Isn't it a fact, Mr. Richards, that other than the one time your wife visited friends in Washington, you've never spent more than 2 days alone with your daughter? And aside from trips involving the deaf community you've mentioned, you've never planned an outing with your daughter, have you? Yes, but that's pretty much spur of the moment, isn't it? Well, what I mean, sir, is you don't take the initiative and plan activities with her, do you?
Your Honor, I object. Counsel hasn't allowed the witness time to answer his previous question. He's badgering the witness.
It sounds like he let him answer the question to me. Mr. Richards, did you have enough time to answer the first question? I believe the question was, it was pretty much spur of the moment about going to the parks. Counsel, you may proceed.
Mr. Richards, you use American Sign Language around the house in talking to your daughter, don't you? Yes, but American Sign Language is not the kind of language that is taught in the schools, is it? Your Honor, could you instruct the witness to just answer the questions?
Mr. Richards, I know it may be difficult, but you have to answer yes or no if you can. I know it seems unfair, but you will have an opportunity to clarify your answer upon redirect examination. If you can answer a simple yes or no, that is always best. Mr. Smith, you may continue.
Now, do you attend any of the parent-teacher meetings at Sarah's school? So you go to school social activities, but do you ever talk to her teachers to discuss how she's doing in school? And how do you know that, sir? Do you read the newspapers daily? Do you watch the news on TV? I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, one or two questions. Your wife refuses to permit Sarah to use American Sign Language at home, is that right? And ASL is the native language of deaf people, is that correct? Have you ever been away on business for more than a week at a time? I have no further questions.
Mr. Smith, any recross?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Richards, you may step down. Counsel, any more witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Very well, then. The court is going to call the guardian ad litem in this matter. Guardian Lindquist, would you please come forward?